His voice dropped to something low and dismissive. You wouldn't recognize kindness if it kissed your hand. He reached for NovelShort without looking at her, pulling her into the shelter of his arm, his palm spread possessively across the small of her back. He turned them both toward the door, shielding her with his body as though she were the one who had been wronged, as though saying even one more word to me was beneath him. I drew in a breath so deep it burned. Then I turned around. I forced a proper smile onto my face, the kind the matriarch herself had taught me to wear. I walked through the remaining guests, the old associates, the wives and cousins and distant allies, who had come to pay their respects, and I offered each one a gracious farewell, a warm clasp of the hand, a murmured thank you. No one would say Natalia Morani had disgraced herself at her own mother's memorial. After the last guest left, after the heavy front door of the Valenti compound closed behind them, and the house fell into that particular silence that only old money and old grief can produce, I walked slowly back to my mother's shrine. I knelt before the small altar. The photograph. The candles. The single white lily I had placed there that morning. And I let every wall I had built that evening collapse. I'm sorry, Mama. My whisper barely stirred the candle flames. Today was your day, and I ended up making a scene. I'm sorry. Let's not talk about things that hurt anymore. I pressed my fingers to the cool edge of the frame that held her face. Mama, I set up a room for the baby. Will you come see it? I lifted the framed photograph gently and carried it with me, down the corridor toward the small room, at the end of the hall, the one I had spent weeks preparing. But the moment I pushed the door open, I went still. The room was destroyed. Not violently. Worse. It had been emptied with precision. The baby clothes I had folded and arranged in the dresser drawers were gone. The small toys I had lined up on the shelf, each one placed with care, had vanished. The crib linens I had washed and pressed 3 times to get them soft enough. Gone. All of it. My first thought was that someone had broken in. A rival family sending a message. A threat. I called the compound security detail, my fingers barely steady enough to hold the phone. The guard's voice came back hesitant, strained with the particular discomfort of a man who knew he was delivering bad news to the wrong person. Signora, it wasn't anyone from outside. A pause. I heard him swallow. It was the Don. He had his men come and take everything. I stood in the center of that empty room, and the world reduced itself to a single high-pitched ringing in my ears. After I hung up, I opened the grapevine. NovelShort's social feeds, the ones she maintained with the careful vanity of a woman who wanted to be seen. I scrolled through her posts one by one, my thumb moving with mechanical precision. It did not take long.